All right, guys, here we are to talk about Season 2, Episode 2 of Iron Fist.
What's up?
More Iron Fist.
More Iron Fist is happening.
Yeah, so
I more or less recorded the beats as they occurred.
All right. So what did you pick
whatever.
up as the important pieces of this episode?
I didn't. No. Nothing's important about this episode.
Gotcha. Okay. That's where I almost had to chime in with like this
Absolutely
is very much a stale episode, and I'm getting I'm thinking things must happen shortly because I'm seeing a lot of like, oh man, like Iron Fist, Marvel, you know how to make your worst show into one of your best.
Really?
And I'm like, either an idiot wrote this or it's gonna take a sharp turn.
Well, anyone who shared our and particularly my like low opinion of the first Iron Fist for for someone to call that out and then say this one's much better, I'm shocked by so far.
We got to see the Iron Fist mask for the first time.
I know,
and it looked okay.
Sure.
But it was short-lived. It wasn't really around for very long. And the way it was showcased did not make me really think it's going to make a comeback. I think it was more of a fan service thing.
It was
like
Luke Cage.
Like Luke Cage had with his tiara.
Exactly, where he ends up in like the 70s tiara outfit and all that stuff. Yeah, totally agree. Even though we got that black and white footage of someone with that mask on, right? So I guess this is just the Kunlun ceremonial thing.
It must be.
Kunlun. Yeah. Let's talk about all that then.
Okay.
We get a lot of flashbacks throughout the episode of Davos and Danny
so
fighting.
they're having their like Brahma Bull match where their hands are tied together.
I didn't like how like one person's left hand is tied to the other person's right hand, and I feel like that is just like unfair for various reasons.
Well, depending on if you're a righty or a lefty.
Yeah, but I have to assume like statistically that one of them was getting the shaft on that. Where,
I guess
your like dominant hand is bound or whatever. It's entirely possible that it worked out.
I do wonder though, so let's just talk about that for a second.
Sure.
If I were tied up to myself and to make it equal, so there's two of me and one of us has their left arm tied to the other person's right arm.
Yeah.
The person with the right arm has a much better ability to pull the other person around because they're right-handed.
Oh, yeah.
But the other person has their left hand free to punch. So I don't know. I don't know how unfair that actually is.
I don't know if it evens out. I've always thought this ever since the Michael Jackson video, ever since every other movie in the 80s that with gangs and they tie someone's arms together and then give them knives and you fight or whatever.
Yeah.
I've always been like, that's not fair.
Like if you were to ask me if they were like, okay, you have a choice, which side do you want to be on?
Which position do you want to be on?
I don't know which side I want to be on.
Totally
I think
agree.
I don't know. I might want my right arm to be bound because I'd have more control of my opponent with my right arm. But I don't know. I'd have to honestly try him out a couple ways and see. But I didn't see a drastic disadvantage because like there used to be wrestling matches like this and things like that. So like I've experienced it before where I'm like okay, and I never had the snap judgment of like that. That seems to be an unfair.
It strikes me as asymmetrical, and I'm suspicious of it.
So would you rather see them both tied to the right arm or have this crossed?
I have no idea what the solution to this problem is, and I understand how we as a human race have gotten to this point. When I see it in movies, I go, what if someone's getting screwed by this? What if this arrangement, because what do they do? Hey guys, you want to do it like this? You want to do it like, no, it's usually like, you will fight to the death, and they just end up bound together. So what if you were like, oh, this is exactly what I wouldn't want. Oh my God, right?
I had a bigger problem with him breaking the tie. Where I'm like, I thought that was part of the thing.
Just
He punched a scarf in half.
No, and like the masks come off at one point. A bunch of stuff happens, and this is like the big moment. This is showing off. So Davos is pissed. He feels cheated. He feels like he shouldn't have had this all like happen to him or something like that. So you're expecting to see something
that would justify this
like
thought.
A serious thing like that, and it turns out Danny just used the power of the sun or something.
But in Davos's, to his credit here,
there's another thing.
He did not actually say I relent.
100%.
He was said he lost.
Yeah.
Now Danny was in the exact same position as far as I understand, and came back to fight to that win. So had they called it prematurely for him, it would have been. And I don't know. Maybe Davos did have nothing left. Maybe he was going to just die right there.
Yeah.
But we don't know. And I think when the fight starts, this is a fight to concession or death. Maybe do that.
Sure, I had the same thoughts. So that's part 2 of the whole thing, where if he's not pissed off about the very reasonable trickery with the sunlight to phase him for a second, if he's pissed off about the like judgment, he should be pissed off about that monk, not about Danny. It wasn't
He may
Danny's
have killed
fault.
that monk. We don't know yet.
I hope we either find out, and I wish the show would have turned that into a thing or something like that.
Well, there's still what 10 episodes left.
I could have known or something.
There's time.
I can
to
only
reveal more things very slowly.
I can only judge based on the first 2 episodes, and right now I feel even more like he might be just and that's his character, right? Is he's like a not a crybaby, spiteful. What do you call that?
He's kind of a baby.
He's like, I deserved that, and you robbed me of it, and it's like, really? Because it seems like you lost, and it was a mess. I don't know.
Most people that lose think they deserve to win for one reason or another, and it's nice to see. It's the same even in Kung Lung. Like, it's a universal truth that sore losers are around. Yeah. But his justification potentially there, but doesn't change anything. And I don't understand why Danny seems to be having this like, oh, maybe you're right thing. Like, because as I stand by, most people that win think they deserve to win, regardless of if they did or not. Danny being a little better than most because he's like, I'm centered and have chi and some shit. But nothing about any of that part. I was like, oh, this is very engaging. I enjoy this.
The highlight of it for me, so I actually not accidentally, I watched this episode twice.
Okay.
Because I
forgot you watched it.
I lost my notes, or I couldn't find them, or I didn't take them the first time. I have no idea. My life these days is such a mess. Kids, don't grow up.
Kids, don't do work.
don't, not even once. Work, not even once. I noticed the second time through, which I didn't even notice the first time, which is huge. Davos does like the neck tap to Danny during the fight, which they then later in the episode show you as his like 5-finger, fucking whatever,
it's Xena's pinch,
or like in like Kill Bill when she's got it's like the kung fu pressure point murder thing or whatever. So he was like,
that's why Danny's all like a crab just laying there with his eyes.
Well, what?
In the fight?
Well, he hits his neck, but then he's fine for a while, and then some other stuff happens.
I think because it takes a bit to weigh in on you.
Danny blocks the like 3rd hit or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So I think like he didn't get the full move off, but the point for me was that he was full on trying to kill him. Like literally kill him. It wasn't just like, I'll make him yield, we're still brothers or whatever it was. So like that moment I think was like a big deal of like the whole thing.
When Danny's like first knocked down and like it's like, and he's not punching him, he's just kind of sitting there like he looked like he's like semi-paralyzed at the moment. Okay. And I took it as like, oh, he's out, but he's so strong he can outfight the thing and whatever.
Okay.
Reading in as where it is, whatever. But that fight was not super fun for me. It wasn't like I was like, okay, I understand it. It's just telling the story, and then like it went on.
It was decent kung fu. I was okay.
No, it was decent, but again, I'm not here for decent. I'm here for the best Marvel series that have been put out. I need more than that. And then when it goes on to be his girlfriend and the street gang, and I was like, and now they're friends and some shit. I was like, come on, man, like stop, after school special on me.
Okay, so
they were aiming to kill you a moment earlier.
I think you've hit upon the like point here is that if this was if we made kung fu shows anymore, if this was like a modern fish out of water kung fu story and that was it, which some people might argue that it is, but it's not. It's a Marvel. It's like a Marvel superhero show.
Yeah.
And this might be fine. You might be like, wow, they're doing all this interesting supernatural and weird history or whatever, but it's not. It's a Marvel show where things happen, where stuff's crazy and people have powers and everything's whatever over the top or whatever, right? So yeah, we go to like the kid. I liked the fake mugging to get it into it or like whatever.
Yeah, I almost called it like it was kind of like the guilty or bad acting thing where I was like, this like what the fuck is even, and I was like, all right, it's fake. Like,
well, so one of them rides by on a bike just to like draw her attention.
Yeah,
and they like jump
and
off
joins
the bike
in on
and
the
says,
fucking
hey,
jumping.
stop or whatever, right? And they're all like huddled together and all that stuff. So yeah, it wasn't like stealthy about it, but I like that that's their like they had
a plan.
They planned like a thing. But yeah, she goes to the hideout and like my first thought was like menthols, whatever. What do you want? It was like the Ninja Turtles stupid like hideout where everyone's. It looked like it
wasn't nearly as cool as that.
No, it was not because there was no half pipe and there was no like stuff hanging from the. No, it was and yeah, it's like 8 kids and like the leader's a kid and they're all like it's like Rufio
named
and his
Rhino.
boys. Yeah, and they're just like whatever.
For a moment, I was like, oh, the leader Rhino. Oh no.
Oh, Rhino?
I thought it could have been something good.
Like Rhino.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. He's not part of this.
It's literally 8 kids who are like, once these people kill each other, we'll take over this turf. There's fucking 80 of you, moron. Like, what are you doing?
And there's a lot of gang stuff still happening, and they're looking to... They're like, well, we did this because they're about to take them out, and they've promised us something or whatever. It's a whole thing. But like, Colleen's like, we good and all that stuff. Come to the shelter and all that. She's dangerous, minding them.
That the guy has like a shotgun, and you're like, finally you see the most powerful tool of all, the gun.
The gun.
So the guy that dies, the hatchet the hatchet team, whatever, kills that dude, right?
Yeah.
And
back to the intro.
The intro, yeah. So he pulls out this little knife and he's like, and eventually gets held and killed. Which is being held and stabbed is like the worst. You're like, I can't do anything and I'm dying with a bag on his head, I believe. So it's even worse. But you're like, if that guy would have had a gun, he probably could have killed all those people. Like it just solidifies the fact that this is such a dumb way of doing modern business. You're in America where guns are available. You may even be smuggling guns through those ports. But for some reason, you're like, no, we have knives, they have hatchets. Already, a hatchet is so much better than a knife. Like, you've lost. And then B, like, why? The 8-man street king, of gang of kids has 2 guns. They potentially could kill your whole organization.
This is the problem, which, because
they want it to be all about kung fu. You're changing the world for your narrative, and you're not doing it in a believable way.
Right. So, like, Jessica Jones gets shot. Luke Cage, they can shoot as much as they want. So, like, we know guns are a thing, right?
Yeah.
Daredevil, they kind of subvert it by having the main people either be people that shoot Daredevil, or, it's like the Hand has shown up.
Yes.
And now Daredevil's going to fight the guy with like whatever the name of that ninja bladed hook thing is or whatever.
Yeah, things that are fun, visually interesting, something that lends to the plot or at least makes me not think about why is he not using a gun because something cool is happening. Right. When people are doing things that actively don't make sense in a modern time period.
Right, it's just like normal crime. And you could try to make an argument that there's some sort of weird honorable gang thing or like being caught with a gun, you get more prison time or do something like that. But they're kind of leaving it up to the audience to like figure out why
when you're murdering people in the streets, I don't think you're worried about prison time.
No, and like the armored car.
You're not allowed to carry a hatchet, like that's a deadly weapon as well.
I think it's a different degree. I'm just trying to grasp at something for why these.
It's not a firearm.
These like rank and file people would not, because like when they rob the armored car, they have guns.
Yes.
Right? And it's awkward. You have to find a way. Even like when the kids were, ambushing Colleen, she has to be able to get close enough to him to like disarm him or like whatever.
Yep.
Right? Where he could have just like shot her and then like
Certainly.
The character's done. The show's over.
That's what annoys me, and I would prefer if they would just either lean into something or not, or have him visit the same guy that Daredevil got his suit from, and say, okay, I've got a bulletproof suit now. I can do things. I can live things. Oh, I love my girlfriend. I want her to have one too. Cool. She wears a motorcycle helmet. That's also bulletproof. Awesome. We do these things, and you have a thing now again, and it makes sense. And you're like, oh look, I have almost no problems, and my character's the richest fucking guy in the world, and he can't fucking get things that make sense. Like,
perfect. No, I agree. There's like a problem, and like it's the show's job. Because in season 1, right, we had some goofy like we are the twins who fight as one, and I'm the spider lady, and I'm the drunken master guy. Like you made this attempt to have weird stuff, but now you're just fighting like Asian dudes in trench coats, like moving.
They do drive-bys with hatchets now. Like what is that?
Yeah. Oof.
So that annoyed me, and that's how the episode started. And this was shortly after I had read the thing saying like, "Oh man, this is the best show." No. And I'm like, "All right,
really
so far,
pulled it out.
So far, they've shown me a super unrealistic robbery murder thing. Then I see like the gang fucking like, all right, we cool kids, yeah, stay in school. All right, there's always stuff at the shelter. Like, I'm like, all right, that's cheesy.
Sure.
And then like there's the fight, which is like arguably the best part of the episode, where I was just like, that was okay.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. I'm not going to dog it, but
that's the problem is that it's just fine.
I completely agree. I'm not defending the show. My biggest problem was that Danny was somehow right there to see the dead dude, and we haven't had it revealed that like it's on purpose or whatever, because he was right there for something else that happened, and now he's right there when the tiger comes out with all the stab wounds and whatever. He just happens to be there and all that stuff.
The worst addition to season 2 so far, and I'm hoping that she changes, is that goddamn like new touristy fucking girl.
I like her more now.
Oh my god! I hate their whole how they talk and interact. Oh look, there's that girl I spontaneously talked to that time. Dot, dot, dot. Let me start a conversation with you again. Let me take you to my...
Dot, dot, dot?
He bangs on the glass.
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing like a video game thing.
Like my stats were raising?
Like a quest indicator or something like that. Okay, so that was the other thing, which it
feels so forced.
It turns out she's like reverse stalking him or whatever she's trying to do or something like that.
And you think, too, it's like, oh, Danny Rand, richest guy in the fucking city. When she says, oh, man, I wish I had a job, and he goes, this is really good. He'd say, oh, maybe we can get you doing a mural in Chinatown or something. Making this city a little more beautiful because I have money, blah-da-da-da-da-da.
So no.
It's I can offer you water and a shitter. Like
let's take a minute then to kind of say I think that they're trying to avoid like Batman or Iron Man comparisons or something like that with like the rich superhero.
They can try, and I understand he's like I've given up money. I work for everything. It's just dumb.
But that's what I was gonna say. Is like, but that's dumb.
Because in all of his experience in like season 1 and like a couple of things in other seasons, he buys buildings. He does this. Oh, yeah. How about I pay your rent? I bought the building. I'm your landlord now.
No,
Luke, I bought this building. You don't have to worry about that. I did this. I do that.
His cameo.
He's all about it.
His cameo in Luke Cage is saving the day with money. That's the whole thing. He does a lot of inspirational talking before he saves the day with money.
And I liked him so much more in Luke Cage than I do in his own show as of right now. Anyway.
Sure. No, we're open to the show changing. I'm totally
I think they have a good demographic, and I would like Luke to make an appearance in this. I don't know if we're going to get that, but I would like that because I
wonder who the cameo
think
would be
they
from.
play. Honestly, everyone plays off of him very well.
Okay.
Haven't got a whole lot of him in Daredevil, but he's a real good character to bounce off of because he is he's like a likable character. How he approaches things in a very like Christian way, sweet Christmas, and and he can back up anything he has to do. Makes him a very well-rounded character to have as like a sidekick or a friend.
Who, Danny or Luke Cage?
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. Sure, yeah, definitely.
Danny is okay, and I think he has a lot of potential. I don't think they really. I think they're trying for something that I don't think is landing exactly for me.
I don't really buy him. Like, there's a lot of scenes, like the casual Danny Rand. I don't really something about it. When he comes home, I'm gonna put on.
It's an act. It feels like an act.
I'm gonna put on a record and start some noodles. You want some? Like his whole thing, or like apparently drinking out of the milk carton's a problem. Like a lot of the stuff, like the.
That's just nasty, man.
A lot of the dialogue and the delivery. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't buy it from him. I want like a different thing from him.
I don't know that it's his fault alone. I don't think anybody on this series.
Earth.
No. There's been great dialogue between characters on other shows, but something about the Iron Fist ones, all their dialogue sounds like dialogue.
Yeah.
Like the whole conversation with him and the guy from the moving company, the whole conversation with him and that new girl that I keep forgetting her name.
Mary.
It all sounds like you're reading a cue card.
Yeah, and like this actor was on Game of Thrones. He was fine. Like had interesting scenes. It's not. I don't think it's his fault.
I think it's
weird.
It's the writing. It sounds like cornball writing.
Yeah, but and like not even
the more serious stuff lands. I think it's the
light. Okay,
it's the standard conversation, the attempt at comedy conversation. Yeah. Even some of the drama stuff. It's like when he's in the heart of action, it sounds a little bit better.
Yeah, no, he does okay sometimes. It's weird though, cause like it's as if it's as if like a superhero has like a thing he's doing, and then he does something else, and you want that to be like I remember Christian Bale's Bruce
Playboy persona.
Yeah, where he was like, okay, everyone, just leave the party. Oh, is he drunk? I don't know. Like this, like have a direction that you take the other side of your thing in. Whereas Danny just seems like. I can't even describe it, I guess, correctly. Not a Boy Scout, not a...
he comes across a little bit Boy Scout-y, kind of like almost like a know-it-all mixed with like a goody-goody.
Yeah, like I can't take him seriously when he's like, well, here's the... Like, because... Every time anyone says anything, he's like, well, here's how you solve that problem. You just have to look at it like this, or hey, it's been many years, or like the way he is with Colleen, how he's such like a weirdly over-supportive and like accommodating person. Yeah. I don't know why.
Oh, I totally forgot about your blah blah.
Yeah.
You have a lot going on. It's fine. No, it's not fine. I should be. He's a bitch.
He's like, that's no excuse. This is really important to you, or something like that. Which I shouldn't hate, but for some reason, I like his character, the like Green Arrow storyline, like family dead, marooned somewhere, brutally tortured / trained to be this, comes back, filthy rich, fish out of water, all that. I don't think should add up to this. Like when you Play-Doh Fun Factory and Squeeze, I don't think this character should come out of that.
Now it feels
weird. Disingenuous to me, I think.
It's just something about it. And
I'm having all these epiphanies in real time.
I understand the whole being raised by like the monks and whatnot, changing who you are, and it came in at a pivotal time of his life.
Formative years.
But it doesn't seem like what we get matches up with what we have.
Yeah, and I feel like it should almost be the other way, where he is like too concerned with his chi and being centered, and like misses out on some of the personality, like interpersonal. Like how does he know how to function in like a modern context?
We need a Data like.
He should be awkward.
Robot, almost calm.
It should be like Kung Fu: The Legend Continues, where he's
Why is Davos so much like that and he's not?
Yes, they should be basically the same.
Yes.
He should be like, oh, well, this is not becoming of a whatever, or like, well, I can't lie. Well, Danny, no, if you don't tell him that, they're going to take your shares. No, I can't lie. Like, he has to be...
Exactly.
Like, it should be like getting in the way. We're writing your show for you now.
And I think that would add better, so when you go into the Defenders, that's a much different type of character to play on.
Yeah.
And it adds something to your overall thing. I don't know. I'm just not sold on it yet, but I'm optimistic that something might happen that changes my opinion. I'm hoping for something like that.
Before we get into the rest of the episode, I think that the cameo might be from Daredevil, and that's why everyone says this is so cool. How do you feel about that?
Well, we said in the last episode that we thought that could make a thing, and we or even pushed further on to the season 3 of Daredevil, which is coming out.
Oh, because that's the next one, right? Yeah. So that's probably what they'll do, and it's probably going to be something cool and like a cool reveal, and it probably happens in episode like 7 or 8. And everyone, when they finish binging it, is so high off of that, like,
and that's fine.
Reveal.
I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Because they have a tendency for me, like to kind of dip toward the ending. It's like any, because each of these seasons is like almost like a mini series, and every mini series has that downfall where like they're like, oh, building, oh, it's so awesome, like they never carry that steam all the way out.
They do the Game of Thrones, or I think Walking Dead has done this sometimes, where the last episode is like a recap and like
this is where we are.
It's like a collect yourself episode. It's like the good episode would be like 10 and 11 or whatever, right? This only has 10 episodes, so the good thing has to happen in like 8, basically, if they follow the same pattern or whatever. Yeah. So also this episode.
What else you got?
We got some more stuff. I really like, I'm going to call them like the kids, I guess, Bert and Joy. Bert? Ward? Ward. Bert Ward. That's why I keep calling him Bert. Pretty good. Graboids. Yeah, Ward and Joy and their whole thing, the whole intrigue thing now. I really, because again, like Davos does have that like fish out of water. But
yes, like, he has it.
Where he's like, should I kill her? And Joy's like, no, what? No, it's handled, it's fine, or whatever.
And you see that he has some sort of vow of celibacy or something because he's very much put off by the idea of using this. Like, I gave up so much for this.
I've made sacrifices and all that stuff. Yeah. So like to cut to the end, like I said, where he kills that guy. He kills that guy because he's been jerking him around already. And now he's like, I can't, guarantee the doc anymore, or whatever. So they're having something else. So like when they show the like bowl and the whole thing, right? and it's like it's as if Bronze Age techniques were used in a modern setting, and I'm like, ding, or whatever. And like so I thought that's what was getting shipped in, but that's only one part of the ritual or something like that. He still needs something or someone else to come in. And that's the whole deal.
That's my guess.
Yeah. So I think you're like your Elektra or the Hand or something thing.
I'm thinking they're bringing Elektra back from the dead or something again.
They're bringing in. I think the bowl may have something to do with some of that juice that does something for people, brings people back or does something. I don't know what's going on.
Something interesting is going to happen, and that's that's where we're going. So, like, I'm hoping that this episode is probably a little better than episode 1, and as long as the trend rises up and into a crescendo of fucking awesome, this season could be saved. At the moment, I'm not super happy with these 2 episodes, but
no, and I liked the whole. I wrote down Davos, sex for profit, or whatever. No, I liked the way that whole scene plays out. I like everything from Ward talking to his secretary and their banter, his like new assistant, whatever you want to call her, to him showing up at the party, to how the dialogue reveals that the friend, he's like, don't you hate her? Didn't she like fuck all your boyfriends? And she's like, and then she turns it around on him like, what is this, the making the amends step? And then if you watch his face in that scene, his like realization that she knows he's in NA and stuff, I'm like, oh, I like this so much. It like reminded me of because season 1 to me, I literally think of those horrible Wu-Tang fights with those weird caricatures of like kung fu monsters or whatever, and I totally forget about the whole other side.
The better parts were the dad and then...
Yeah, whenever I see those characters now, it like triggers me to have flashbacks to when like the dad rose up out of the water and he was like walking around all like you know messed up, coming back to life and all that stuff, and the whole stuff with the apartment, the like penthouse, and how he's hiding and how she's
there were some good things.
I like
that kind of got buried by other shit in that season.
Yeah, and like, but that's the other damning part of like this triangle of like, why is this show like this, right? Because it's a superhero show, right?
Yeah.
So like, you're force feeding me kung fu in a modern time, whatever stories that don't add up because of how the rest of the universe has so many guns and so much crap. And then the best part is from a whole different show. It should be a show like I've never seen these shows, but I feel like Damages or like Wild Kingdom or whatever it's called, like a show's about rich people and lawyers and double crossing and like, oh, he like has my stock options and those patents, they're junk bonds, we have to find the derivative. It's this weird, and I'm like, why is that the part that I'm like, oh yay, we're back to this part or something like that. Like when it pans out and you see that that she set up the laptop or whatever to like film them and all that stuff, music's playing, you're like, this is intrigue, this is good. That's so much better than like, I'm gonna put on some noodles and think about me fighting Davos and all that stuff. I'm like, oh man. Yeah. Mary is the last thing.
All right. So Mary definitely gets a bigger payoff in this one where her personality switches, it seems, on the fly in the middle of being in their bathroom.
I literally wrote in all caps, do the mirror half-face thing or something like that. And then she goes, she like does it, and I'm like, you did it, because it's all steamy in there. She turns on the water. Oh man, so like I enjoyed that though, because it was like so on the nose and like whatever.
Yeah. So because of that, I did not really enjoy it that much until we see something more interesting or like eccentric happen from that character.
Right.
She still just feels like this plant of a character where I'm like, come on, man. I wonder if she's going to be part of any overarching plot or if she's just some other side thing.
Yeah, no, I wonder. And so predictions or something. I feel like the Mary personality might be like a young girl, because of the way she talks or whatever.
Okay.
I hadn't picked up on it.
I like to draw. La, la, la.
Yeah, I shouldn't have called, like, click or whatever. I think or they're going for something. I don't know what they're going for. But I liked when she spreads out the pictures and is kind of shocked by them and she finds the next note. And I didn't mention this last time, but the way she, like, folds up the note and gets, like, a weird look on her face or something like that.
I thought she was going to eat it when she filled it up into, like, a pill.
But I like that. I like that she's folding it up, like she's taking control of the situation and she's making it smaller and she's like getting rid of it or something like that. Like nope, fuck, all this stuff. Like she's, the other personality is like dominating the whole situation and she's like a victim of like whatever's happening.
I wonder if there's just two, if it's a thing. We'll see.
Again, though, now it's a trapezoid. I don't know where this fits into my kung fu show. She mentions wanting to go find some place where there's Tai Chi. So I'm like, wait a minute, do you have powers? And like, no one has powers really except Danny. So
but she mentioned in the context of like drawing the fluid motions.
She totally did. But when she dropped that or something like that, And
I thought it was going to be a way of like, I didn't realize that the school was closed. Like, oh, you should come by the school, learn a blah blah. But they made her get there anyway.
No, I know, and it seemed like it might just be a con like that or something. So like, yes. But we'll see where that character goes, I suppose.
I would not be sad if she got stabbed by hatchet men and it just ended and we knew nothing else about it.
This is not going to happen.
Of course not.
Of course not.
But wouldn't that be a nice little like, oh, Didn't see that coming.
I would love to not see something coming. That's my main thing in life, is to be surprised and delighted by something strange. Final note.
Sure.
To your point about they and I forgot all about this, so I'm glad I have you here to make my life more disappointing. But the whole angle of him like having the mixtape from like his childhood and then liking that stuff or like whatever. In this episode, he literally says, "I'm gonna put a record on," but they don't even play the music really. It's just like a this like soft thing, and that would have been an opportunity to drop an old school hip hop of some
would
sort.
have been.
Maybe like a Lauryn Hill.
Do you
or
think
like
their
an
budget
R&B
dropped
thing or
out and they can't afford the licensing of these songs anymore?
I think because
or were artists like, dude, that show wasn't as good as you said it was going to be. I don't want my shit in that.
I wonder if that was the the RZA pushing that or something like that, and maybe he's not involved in this season.
Maybe
and that's why we haven't gotten weird caricatures of Kung Fu. Maybe we will. I also think because I'd forgotten all about that, and only when you brought it up did I even like remember it, that they might have had the same thought, is like, this isn't even adding anything, drop it, this is too much like Guardians of the Galaxy, we have to get rid of this or something like that. But there we go.
At this point,
I figured you'd be upset, so I wanted to bring it up.
I don't like it, but there's not been a lot about this season so far. Again, we're very early.
Hasn't been a lot of season
that I've been like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to be blown away, and I want it to happen. I want everything to be great.
I'm very encouraged to hear you say you've heard chatter on the internet that it gets better. Because that's really interesting. Because I enjoy shitting on things, but I also enjoy things being awesome.
The note itself didn't say it gets better. It said it is great. So, like, again, it could be because they just finished it. The end is amazing. But
no, these are like
these are
8-hour movies to most people.
Yes.
We're doing it week to week. We're being whatever diligent about it. So, like, for us, it'll be a different experience. But yeah, I could see, if there's 3 episodes great towards the end, you would watch
it
the
would
whole
change
thing
the whole experience
and be like, oh, it was great or whatever. So yeah, but for the moment.
That's where we sit. All right, guys, so that's our thoughts on this. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.